In this video, we're going to look at 5 budget-friendly tools that you'll use all the time grinding down welds and cutting sheet metal. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? My name is Dan and you're watching Resto a Car, your source for DIY content to help you finish those builds. First up is the 4.5-inch angle grinder. This tool I use a lot to make cuts like you've seen in my videos with the, you're cutting sections out of panels, large sections. I also use this tool to take a first pass at grinding down welds using a flap disc like this here, usually about 40 grit or so. And then when I can't get into these areas anymore, that's when I stop using this and switch over to some of the other tools you'll see here. Now this tool throws a lot of sparks, but it makes fast work of stuff, so definitely want one of these. One thing to consider, this one just has an on-off switch. Other ones have variable speed, which might be nice. Okay, so my favorite discs for this, as I mentioned, are the cutoff discs and the flap disc. So here's a sample flap disc. Here's a full cutoff disc for this one here. These benchmark abrasive discs are super good. They last a long time and they're really thin. They leave a nice gap for MIG welding. I'll put a link in the description for these. Another attachment I use on this is the twisted wire wheel. I use this a lot for removing seam sealer and undercoating, stuff like that. Now you got to wear a full face mask with these because these wires will come out and they will get stuck in your skin, in your face, anywhere. So full face mask, long sleeve clothes. I don't use these often. So these are like grinding discs for this. These really, I don't know, they don't have a place on my car, I guess. So they heat up metal too fast and they take a lot longer to grind stuff down than, for example, the flap disc. So generally don't use these. These are what you'll see most often when you get one of these. They'll even probably come with some of these, so don't use these. Next up is the auto body saw. So this is great for finishing cuts, especially so if you make a cut, this way and this way, and you end up with a corner, you can come in and finish that cut with this. It's also great for getting in tight spots. This one here, Harbor Freight, I don't recommend it. It always stops working for some reason. But anyway, the auto body saw is good to have. When this thing's working, it's great. And of course, you want to make sure you have good blades. If you guys have any good recommendations on a better auto body saw, let me know. Next up is the die grinder with a cutoff wheel on it. Now this is just for cutoff wheels, so there's no 1/4 inch adapter or anything on this. I use this all the time. So I use this for making cuts. I use these wheels here for grinding down welds, as you've seen in my videos, and just I've had this forever. This is also a Harbor Freight brand and it's been great. So Central Pneumatic, both of these are, and this one's really good. I've never had an issue with this thing. Again, you want to make sure you're checking your widths on these discs. The thinner the better, as far as leaving nice cuts for MIG welds. Here's just a few. So these are the cheaper discs, and these might be Harbor Freight, or maybe I got them on Amazon or something. And then here's the 3M discs. You can see the difference in the width there slightly. I bought these 3M discs specifically for super thin cuts when I need them. Otherwise, I use the cheaper Harbor Freight discs. The thing with the 3M stuff is that It's great, it's super awesome, it works well. The problem is whenever you break them or you rip the sanding discs, it's just like, oh, there goes some money. So when I can, I use the cheaper stuff. When I really need it, I use the 3M stuff because it's really good. All right, next up is the angled die grinder, 1/4 inch. So I use this all the time for these Rowlock discs. So you can see these here, they come with a thread on them and you can get different attachments. So this one here is a 36 grit sanding disc, and basically the Rowlock attachments right here, you put this on and these just thread on like that. These come in 2 inch, and you can get a 3 inch backing plate as well. So here's an example of a 3 inch disc, and these are the 2 inch discs. Rarely do I use the 3 inch stuff. Generally always use the 2 inch discs. So there's that. Other attachments I use on that. So these 36 grit discs remove metal pretty quick. And to clean paint, I use these conditioning discs. These are almost like Scotch-Brites or scuff pads just on a Rowlock backing plate. So these are great when you do not want to remove the metal. They come in different, abrasiveness, right? So we got coarse here and medium here. And then there's a fine that I don't really stock or use. So I use these all the time to remove paint for welding. And of course to remove rust and stuff. I use the coarse ones way more than I use the medium ones. If you're buying these, you'd probably just be fine getting the coarse ones. So I wouldn't, or you can get a mixed bag. One more attachment for this that I just started using are the flap discs for the Rowlock attachment. So basically, there's a 40 grit Rowlock disc, this is a 40 grit flap disc, and it threads on to the Rowlock attachment, and basically you get the same benefits that you do from the 4.5. And this, I've been using these, like once I get the welds pretty much ground down, either by using the flap disc on here or the cutoff wheel, I then switch over to these, and it just makes nice quick work of the welds, and it produces a much better finished weld than just using the 36 inch disc. So really like these. They're a little pricey, so I try to use these first to get the weld close, and then I switch over to these to finish it off. Other attachments I use on here or in a drill are wire wheels. I use these a lot to clean up welds after I'm done welding and before I start grinding and everything. So there's these are great because they attach to drills. Any 1/4 inch attachment, right? You can use in here, you can use in the drills. All right, next up is another die grinder. So this one, again, this is a 1/4 inch die grinder. You can put whatever attachments you want in here, but I use this for double cut burrs. Double cut burrs are great for tight spots when you're welding. So suppose you welded around a corner. For example, my trunk brackets, when I put them in, you can only grind and clean up the weld so far until you get into the corners where it's tight. Then you can switch over to this, and this thing removes metal fast. Double cut burrs are definitely something you'll want in your toolbox. They can get away from you and they can gouge metal pretty quick. So a lot of times I end up following this up with some fiberglass filler when I'm done to smooth things out, just because if you let go for even a second, the thing will take off on you. So, but when you got tight areas that you need to grind down, this is about the best thing that I've found to get into those areas. And this comes with, well, it doesn't come with, and so You can get many different attachments for this, so let me show you a few. I'll link to these in the description. Different sizes, different shapes. So I use these tools that you see here, these tools and discs and wheels. I use these a lot for, you know, putting in patch panels, cleaning up welds, cutting out metal, all that kind of stuff. So I'd say, and these are all cheap, right? Like these are Harbor Freight specials, and this is probably the cheapest. I don't even know what brand it is. Okay, this is a Craftsman. So you can probably get it pretty cheap at some point. Harbor Freight probably has some too. This was about 20 bucks or something at Carlisle, and I know you can get those cheap. And this I got on special one day with a kit of other things. So each one of these tools is probably under 20 bucks. And then of course, depending on the quality you want of these things, for example, you want to go 3M. This is 3M as well. Usually when you see the green disc, you got 3M. These are ABN off of Amazon. Again, I'll put a link in the description. I like these because they're cheap enough that when you catch the edge of metal and they rip apart, it doesn't make you sick in the stomach whenever you're, you know, a couple dollar a piece, like 3M pieces go flying. So these don't last as long as 3M, but they're a lot cheaper and they're good enough. I've had good luck with these. These are all ABN products off of Amazon. For these wire wheels, I like to buy high quality stuff. I'm pretty sure this is a DeWalt. These types of wire wheels I can go cheap on, don't really care. But these ones, there's a safety issue there, so I try to spend some more money and get some better wheels. Okay, so that is my list of top 5 tools for cutting sheet metal and grinding down welds. Basically an arsenal of tools for working with patch panels. These are budget friendly tools. There's a lot more expensive tools, even versions of these out there. Plus there's electric shears and all kinds of other things that this video isn't about. This video is about getting started and getting some tools that you'll use all the time when you got a project like this. All right, that's it for this one. Hopefully this was useful, especially for those of you out there with your first project cars. You're gonna use these tools all the time and you can get them cheap. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing because there's gonna be a lot more like this. If you do subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get alerts whenever we post new videos. And as always, if you got questions, comments, post them down below. Post your builds down below. And also if there's tools that you guys use or discs, attachments, whatever for these tools that were not on the list, go ahead and share that with us down below. We'll see you in the next one.